And now we're talking about gaming and tech. We've got some Mortal Kombat 1 action to really dive into. We also have Nightdive Studios giving us the updates on some pretty epic remasters that they are working on, as well as the announcement of a new Nintendo situation. So yeah, let's get into all of that, shall we? Welcome, nerds, to the gaming and tech news for the week. This is a clip that has been taken out of the main show, The Week in Nerddom, which goes up on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. In gaming and tech, we like to talk about, well, you know, gaming and tech. Trailers, announcements for new tech and games and consoles and everything in between that is gaming and or tech related. So this week in gaming and tech, all of this stuff happened. So starting things off in follow-ups and corrections, we have Mortal Kombat 1 things to talk about. There are some trailers, we'll get to those in a minute. But so as Gamescom was coming to an end, I believe, is when a lot of Mortal Kombat specific creators, so dudes like Super and Dynasty and True Underdog and blah, 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 were given an opportunity, because Gamescom happens in Germany and most of the creators for the game exist either in Brazil or here in the States. So they were taken to Chicago. Some of them were flown to Chicago to play the first, I'm pretty sure it was like 15 to 20 minutes of the game, of Mortal Kombat 1. And a pretty big surprise happened. Kronika was shown to be in the story mode of Mortal Kombat 1, which has caused all kinds of speculation amongst the community. Then just the other day, with the launch of the new trailers, some other stuff has come out that shows Aaron Black kind of in the new Mortal Kombat 1. I say kind of because he's off screen and it's for the Test Your Might, the mini game, and you never see him, but he definitely, if you screw up, he lets you know. And then this next bit probably could have gone in the rumor mill, but it's all Mortal Kombat 1, it's all gaming, so we're gonna keep it here, and that is the Nitara leak. So this one has been kind of sort of disproven, but I don't like the logic with which it was disproven, so it seems like this is slightly more likely. Everybody's speculating that Kronika is going to be the last playable character revealed, but now with the Nitara leak, it seems that Nitara is going to be the last playable character revealed, unless the debunkers are correct. I think that the exposure of the thing just means they took a picture with their phone and they didn't have a screen capture, which would make sense if NetherRealm is trying to keep this under wraps. They're not going to let somebody bring in a screen capture device into work. So yeah, here's the thing. This is my speculation, and then we'll probably move forward until we get to trailers, and then we'll talk about Mortal Kombat again. But my speculation for Mortal Kombat 1 is that we're very likely Nitara is going to be the final character revealed. Largely, I say this because not just the leak, but also because of the other leak, I guess technically. The footage that came from San Diego Comic-Con ended with a screeching sound and everybody looking up, or not everybody, I think it was just smoke looking up, which would imply a creature or character with wings, or who could fly. I guess that still keeps it fairly narrow. But also the screechy bit kind of implies a bat-like character, which would be Nitara. Yeah, so all of that kind of lends itself to, you know, it's probably going to be Nitara. And the leaked image kind of looks like Megan Fox, which plays into another rumor that we haven't actually covered on the channel, which is that Megan Fox is going to be the face model for Nitara. And so that kind of jibes pretty well, though I don't know, Megan Fox, really, is she that relevant that NetherRealm was like, yeah, let's put her in the game next to John freaking Cena and the J.K. Simmons voicing Omni-Man and just all of these other like legitimately currently relevant characters. Would Megan Fox really? Whatever. So my theory, my conjecture is tied to the fact that, one, there have been a number of leakers who have been very, very accurate. But then as we get to the details of the end of the pre-release era of this game, a lot of them are starting to divulge. So very probably a lot of them are actually right. It's just they're not right for who the base characters are. I mean, I didn't think Omni-Man and Homelander and Peacemaker were all going to be DLC, and then that became legitimately true, so I had to eat a little crow there. But what I think is that we are, in fact, going to see a lot of these characters, maybe not all of the characters that everybody's guessing at. We are going to see a lot of these characters, even if it's down the road, a la Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimates. Remember, with Ultimate, they expanded the story of that game with DLC content. It was effectively another add-on that you had to pay for, but you got a bunch more characters. It was almost like another combat pack worth of characters and more story mode. So because they've laid that groundwork as that's a thing they can do, I think it's a thing they will do going forward. We're going to see at least one story expansion for Mortal Kombat 1 that is going to bring us all of these characters that we haven't yet seen. The specific game director, Dan, his last name starts with a C and I don't know how to say it and I apologize, said recently in an interview that just because they're not here in the base roster doesn't mean we're not going to see them in the future. Now, a lot of people have read that to mean future games, the sequels to Mortal Kombat 1, which very likely is accurate, but I think slightly more accurate would be we're going to see them in this story specifically as part of the story DLC that comes down the road. So we're not going to see Sonya, not going to see Jax on the base roster for the initial game, but in a year when we get the DLC story mode, then that's going to add Sonya and very potentially Jax and maybe even Aaron Black, now that we have Aaron Black voice actor in existence here, and potentially even some of the cameos that people want to see, like Sector and Cyrax. Maybe we're going to see them in the proper story mode as proper playable characters too, and not as cameos. So I think we will see a DLC story pack down the road, and that is going to give us a lot more canon characters, not just guest characters. So that's my conjecture. I'm just going to pass that off. What do you guys think? And let's move on because we're spending all the time on Mortal Kombat. So next up in follow-ups and corrections, we have Robocop. That Robocop game, the FPS that we've been keeping kind of light tabs on because not a whole lot has developed since we talked about it last. Now something has developed. So we have a new release date for it, which is November 2nd, and we also have they kind of ghosted Nintendo. It was supposed to release on all three current generation platforms. So it was supposed to be coming out on series consoles as well as the PS5 and the Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch iconography has been used in all of the marketing for this Robocop game. Until about a month ago, it started dropping off. So this means one of two things. Either it's not coming to a Nintendo console at all, or they're going to postpone the Nintendo development for the next Nintendo console that is very likely going to be announced probably next summer-ish for next Christmas-ish. It seems to be the way the industry is speculating, so that seems slightly more likely to me than they just kind of completely forgot about Nintendo, which is still selling consoles. 12, what are we, 12 years, 10 years, 12 years, something past launch date. They're still one of the top consoles selling on the market. There's no way they're ignoring that. Anyway, Robocop, November 2nd, only on PlayStation and Xbox Series consoles until further notice. Let's move on. We have one more follow-up to do. And this one I think is just kind of silly, but we're going to talk about it real quick, and that is Call of Duty. The Call of Duty series of games has announced that there are going to be some guest characters for the games. Lara Croft is going to be playable, 21 Savage, and Jackal Mace, who is a legitimate military dude. He was a Marine, I believe. All of them are going to be coming out to different Call of Duty games over the course of the next few months. Link in the description if you really want the details for that. It is what it is. I'm not a Call of Duty guy, so yeah, that brings us into trailers. Trailers, we have the 2 Mortal Kombat live action commercials, effectively is what they are. It's in our blood. Both of them featuring Dave Bautista, one of them featuring some actual in-game Shang Tsung footage, which, strange that this was announced how many months ago, and this is the first time we're actually seeing in-game footage of Shang Tsung. I mean, we saw the story mode footage of him, but that's kind of sort of pre-rendered. It is in-engine rendered, but it's not, you're not playing as Shang. So yeah, pretty awesome. Go check out both of those. You'll find the links down in the description. And then let's get into some regular ass news. In the regular ass news, we got Nightdive Studios is the studio that brought us the System Shock remaster. They've also remastered Turok 1 and 2. They have announced that they are going to be working next on bringing us Star Wars Dark Forces as well as Turok 3, which kind of, they did 1 and 2, so it makes sense. I really thought that, and I couldn't verify this because I didn't give myself enough time, but I really thought that Nightdive Studios is the studio that also brought us the Quake remaster, Quake 2 and 1 remaster, but I could be wrong there. Either way, solid work from them in the recent past, because System Shock is fantastic. So very excited about Star Wars Dark Forces. I love me some FPS action and Star Wars, and put the two together and I'm just in heaven. So makes me sad that I can't play the Halo 3 mod for Star Wars, the Battlefront Halo 3 mod, because Halo 3 and Star Wars, go on, yeah. Yeah, so Nightdive Studios, that's what you got. There is links to the announcements and stuff, both for both games down in the description, so you can go check that out. Next up is technically not a gaming piece. This is a tech piece more than anything, really. It theoretically could have even been a movie piece, depending on how I wanted to divvy this up. Anyway, Ghostbusters is giving us some new footage. Let's put it that way. This is kind of proof of concept. This is a short film that they made in Unreal Engine 5, kind of to show the versatility and the usability of creating digital assets and doing things in the digital realm to supplement the real world. So the footage, if you click the link in the description, it will take you to the footage. The footage is kind of rough. I'm going to be straight up with you, but if you consider the fact that it was the lion's share of the creation of this footage was done in a single day. I mean, obviously they created the assets, but as far as like creating this action sequence is what it is. Creating this action sequence happened in the span of a day. That's pretty epic. That is very much proof of concept. So if you throw a budget at a studio like this and you give them much more than a day, then the janky issues with like the people look really stiff when they're walking through the crosswalk, all of those issues go away. And I think this is just an incredible piece of tech. It's a digital, what is the word? The digital motion capture stage that they shot this on. And it's brilliant, man. Like texture-wise, a lot of the textures in the city and stuff look real. The camera angles that they use on Ecto 1 look real. Like it moves. Because a lot of times with digital camera work, you get like this shake because they're trying to make it look handheld. Oh yeah, that's what it looks like when you shoot handheld. No, that's what it looks like when you shoot handheld and you've had 6 cups of coffee. That's what that looks like. The shake in this though feels a little more natural, and I think that's a pretty big step forward in digital filmmaking. So absolutely, that is something that is worth your time. And then our final piece of regular ass news has to do with Nintendo. Nintendo has announced that there will be a Nintendo Direct specifically for Super Mario Wonder. It is happening tomorrow as I'm filming this, so actually tomorrow as this is getting posted. So the 31st of August is when it's going up, 7 a.m. Pacific time, so you can do the math according to wherever you live. 7 a.m. Pacific time is New York time, so adjust accordingly. And it's all about Super Mario 1. It's going to be approximately 15 minutes is what the announcement said, so it's not going to be a huge Nintendo Direct, but it is also not going to be the final Nintendo Direct for the year. We can almost guarantee that for ourselves, because previously they have had game-specific Directs, and then just a matter of weeks later, they've had a much longer general Direct. So that is entirely possible. Christmas is a-coming, so very likely we will be seeing at least one more general Direct from Nintendo. Probably because, you know, they did announce that they're working on a Princess Peach game specifically last time we heard from them, and they're probably not going to touch on that this time, so they have to give us another Direct, right? Either way, that's what we got for regular ass news. Let's get into some suggestions for gaming and tech this week. Your suggestion is to go check out that Ghostbusters digital short. That is proof of concept. Remember, the lion's share of the creation of the footage was done in a single day. Single day. Imagine what these guys could do with a month. Just a month. And, oh, just incredible. This is such a cool little, I think it's like a 3-5 minute clip. Such a cool little action sequence that they made inside of Unreal Engine 5 that the future is looking bright. Go check out the Ghostbusters short. You can find the link down in the description. Once again, this is just the gaming and tech section. It is a shortened piece of the much longer news show that I do over on youtube.com/generallynerdy, which is the main channel. There's a lot more music and comic books and movies and TV shows, etc., that can be found over there on the regular show. Thank you for joining me here, though, nerds. Before we go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.